Good evening, everyone in Bangalore and people in Chennai and all over India, as well as good morning to the other part of the world and all the people viewing this video interview all across the world. Uh, Today, we're continuing with the interviews with the LabVIEW personalities and LabVIEW Champion interviews. We want to understand the journey and then all the adventure they had while using the LabVIEW and contributing to the LabVIEW community. Today, in this episode, we have the interview with the newest LabVIEW champion of India, Varaprasath Mohan. He is the CLA as well as the CTA as well. He has also presented at the first CLA summit here in India, and he has been the continuous dedicating and contributing member of our fresh INLOG, that is the Indian LabVIEW user group as well. So further ado, I would like to introduce the Varaprasath Mohan all the way from Chennai, and he will give his a short introduction and please tell the our audience that how you got into the LabVIEW and your journey so far. Yes,
Yes,
Varaprasath.
Ram.
Yep.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you for giving this opportunity and for the interview so
And
that,
also congratulations,
yeah,
Varaprasath. You recently
thanks,
became
Ram.
the LabVIEW champion. Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ram, actually. Actually, I got your help on that, I have to say in this round.
No worries, you completely deserved it. So yeah, that's fine.
Yes. So to get started with myself, I completed my engineering in the year of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I belonged to electronics and instrumentation department, where the first journey of my LabVIEW started way like 2011 actually, or 2010
Mm-hmm.
around that. So the electronics and instrumentation engineering department was first started in our college. So we belonged to the first batch, and LabVIEW came. So at that time, we have to set up the lab, and 229 actually, 2009 LabVIEW. So I've been asked to install LabVIEW in all the lab benches. So that that is how it got. So 32 to 33 lab benches I got involved along with the other students
Uh-huh.
to get install the software in all the tables over in my college.
Uh-huh.
So and then the lab started, and teachers start to teach LabVIEW on that. So there are not much of people at that time to tell exactly what is a LabVIEW or other things. So what I did is not able to understand any programming language at that
Okay.
time, not even C, not even LabVIEW as a college student. So then the lab went somehow crossed. So that is in that period of time, I just learned a word LabVIEW, not much than that in
Okay.
that time. And then I began my journey, and so I started to learn project phase scheme actually,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got into a company called Mirror Technologies Private Limited.
Uh-huh.
So that is the first company, and I know the managing director of that company. So I
Uh-huh.
went and started try to learn embedded actually. So
Okay.
he's also electronics and instrumentation department guy, and he told me to learn LabVIEW actually.
Uh-huh.
So then, so then I went on to my college library and try to get some books on LabVIEW, whatever it is there.
Uh-huh.
So there is a instruments in lab and other things. Try to get started at 2011 at the final year time of learning LabVIEW.
Uh-huh.
And then slowly I was able to understand something because there is no much guide to teach LabVIEW or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
So only the books was there. There is no official NI manuals or other things
Oh
in the
wow.
hand as
Uh-huh.
well. So there is nothing on book, small book. I forgot the author of that book actually. And then searched on the Flipkart and Google and got the LabVIEW for everyone from Jim Kring actually.
Yeah, yeah. That's like a very legendary book. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the first book. Try to search in the shops, nothing was there. Flipkart was also not much used to at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
ordered via Flipkart and got that book delivered. So that is the first book I just started on LabVIEW and
Uh-huh.
gone through page after page. So I
Uh-huh.
think probably I would have read something like 6 to 7 times of that book.
Wow. Okay.
And
Uh,
slowly trying to understand because even for a for loop will be explained in a very precise and a very good way in that book.
uh-huh.
And then I learned LabVIEW. I tried to do my own project in the LabVIEW at that time. So
Uh-huh.
since we learned LabVIEW and college, their DAC assistance is not much easy to touch because people will tell like you will make the DAC go fault or something like that. And
Yeah.
since I was interested in the mirror technology, I joined a course, short-term course or
Uh-huh.
something like that, and there they started to teach microcontrollers actually.
Mm-hmm.
So in parallel, I learned on microcontrollers. Since
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a DAC assistant, so there is no possibility for me to learn the hardware part or other things.
Okay.
So what software and other books are there, so I get good on software area
Uh-huh.
and try to slowly. And at the same time, I got knowledge on C and microcontrollers.
Oh, wow.
So what I did is try to interface the microcontrollers which is there and LabVIEW
Uh-huh.
and via the RS-232 port. That is the first
Uh-huh.
major breakthrough
Yeah.
because it was very complex actually to
Yeah.
interface without knowing anything with not an NI hardware and
Uh-huh.
then the microcontroller actually. So it starts with the Atmel
Yeah.
microcontroller, then PIC microcontroller. So
Yeah.
that that is a complete world. So making my
Yeah.
own DAC and my own
Mm-hmm.
hardware, small
Uh,
things was that. Then I joined as an embedded software engineer level into the same organization of Meta
uh-huh.
Technologies, where I continue my work.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a project from Navy actually to do
Uh-huh.
some kind of simulator at that time.
Uh-huh.
So did a similar project with
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Varaprasath. Like you started working, with
Yes,
like simple applications and everything. So,
yes.
what do you think? Like when you actually made like someone who actually used NI recommended guidelines or the standardized,
Yeah,
processes and everything.
yeah. So since I don't know any other guide or something like that, the
Mm-hmm.
way I started is my own way of going actually.
Mm-hmm.
So all the codes will become, see, somehow I will try to get the output.
Uh-huh.
So I don't follow any kind of methodologies or
Uh-huh.
coding standards because I don't know anything at that time. All I know is
Yeah.
a for loop,
Yeah.
while loop, case structure, boolean, and other things. So I would try to get
Uh-huh.
the output with what I know of.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, it lot of months has crossed, and then I slowly started to do some kind of student project activities and some
Uh-huh.
small industrial projects as well.
Uh-huh.
And then I learned something called CLAD is there, Certified LabVIEW Associate
Uh-huh.
Developer,
Okay. Yeah.
CLD
Certification.
and CLA,
Yeah.
because so that is what, and we try to go into and look all the certified LabVIEW architects and developer in the NI website list.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow.
this guy is from that company, that guy is from this
Uh-huh.
company, and then from that list going to the LinkedIn and search which are all companies are LabVIEW. Because if you search in Nakuri at that time, LabVIEW, nothing will come, not
Uh-huh.
much. Everything will
Yeah.
say you want 5 years of experience or something like that. If
Yeah.
you're trying to go to a multinational corporation or
Yeah.
multinational
Correct. Yeah.
organization, actually.
Uh-huh.
So that is how it goes, and slowly it gets complex. And then I completed the CLAD. First attempt I got failed on the CLAD,
Uh-huh.
so not much on 5-10% difference. Didn't prepare well,
Okay. Yeah.
and then the next attempt I learned a little more
Uh-huh.
all myself and got
Yeah.
into a certified LabVIEW associate
Uh-huh.
developer. That is the first big breakthrough
Uh-huh.
and an achievement. Still,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so lots of new concepts at that time, like global
Mm-hmm.
variable, local variable, and other things got
Yeah.
cleared when I completed the CLAD.
Yeah.
So without that, it would get much complex, I guess.
Yeah.
So I won't be able to learn or might be.
Yeah.
Then CLD is the next target actually. So
Yeah.
until then, my way of coding will be all myself.
Oh. Oh. Wow. Okay.
And when I try to learn CLD, so CLD is the first thing. So I try to go through that actually, try to
Uh-huh.
learn, and NI forum is the best guide for that.
Uh-huh.
Where I used to see a lot of sample exams people
Yeah.
used to post on it,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and trying to solve the sample exam I won't be able
Uh,
to do, and then slowly learn all the guidelines over there
yeah.
in the CLD exam. At that time only I learned something called standard state machine.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
so and I when I just try to implement all my code which I have done earlier with the
Uh-huh.
state machine, it gets very easy actually,
Yeah.
and I was able to learn how much I'm hitting the
Yeah.
head on the wall to get some kind of
Yeah.
output where there is a thing called state machine.
Yes.
And CLD preparation went actually because it's a quite costly examination actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, there are lots of methodology for me to write, like
Yeah.
companies points and other things are there, and company
Yes.
at that time I have to pay from 18,000
Yeah.
rupees.
Uh-huh.
So I prepared as much as possible. It's a one-time hit. I can't get the another hit. And I learned LabVIEW as much as possible. Did all the
Uh-huh.
examinations,
Yeah.
and there is a YouTube channel is there where UK's website is there
Uh-huh.
where UK will explain all the CLD actually. NI
Yeah.
UK would have posted on the complete
Yeah.
CLD.
Yeah.
So there I went through that video several
Mm-hmm.
times, 10, 15
Yeah.
times,
Uh-huh.
because he will be telling very fast actually. You won't be able to
Oh
understand
yeah.
quick. So that, and I learned the concept called verbs and nouns actually,
Uh-huh.
where we have to, in a CLD paper, we have to verbs, all the
Uh-huh.
verbs or actions, and all the
Mm.
nouns or nouns we have to count and put it on a separate
Uh-huh.
section, write it out.
Yeah.
Like if it says like you have to create a file which does the operation of read and write, then we have to create a sub VA called
Yeah.
file and which write and read operation.
Yes.
So that I learned somehow and I tried to formulate it, and then the CLD got over actually.
Yeah.
So
And now, like you are a CLA as well. So, like, Varaprasath, like, you believe that if
yes,
there was no certification exam or something, that otherwise, like, your quality of code may not have been like,
yes,
enforced to be improved or
no,
something like that.
definitely not. I won't be able
Yeah.
to. That becomes a target actually. The
Yeah.
certification became a target, plus it
Uh-huh.
allows me to learn actually.
Uh-huh.
Without
Yeah.
that, I wouldn't have gone to
Uh-huh.
learn something which is there for me to go and achieve.
Yeah.
There is no line, there is no
Uh-huh.
something for me to go and catch, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing would have
Right.
been there. So when certification
Mm.
is there, I went and said, okay, that is my target. Let's try to achieve that. So
Yeah.
I want to achieve and become a CLD. That makes me
Yeah.
to learn many other concepts of it actually.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So that is the reason, the importance of the certification, where people have
Yeah.
to get that up and try to
Yeah.
achieve that. Not to
Yeah.
call myself a CLD, not to call as
Yeah.
CLA.
Correct.
That is just an exam or certificate, but the amount of learning which it is going to give is very vast
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Yeah.
And even if today, if I say, okay, I'm a certified LabVIEW architect, that is not going to make
Yeah.
myself as an architect. So
Yeah.
if I call myself an architect, that takes lots of years of experience and other
Yeah.
factors
Correct.
which
Yeah.
get involved, where an
Yeah.
architect is supposed to think in multiple ways, like globally, how many sites are there, how many people are involved, like
Yeah.
200 to
Correct. Yeah.
300 people of architecture.
Yeah.
But completing a CLA is going to put a person definitely to first step of becoming very big architect in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
So that is
Yeah.
what I learned actually, because
Yeah.
CLA becoming an architect is going to understand many things where people can
Mm-hmm.
implement on the project. If they try to
Yeah.
implement those concepts on their real world, then they
Mm-hmm.
are going to become a bigger and greater person actually. But without
Yeah.
completing the CLA, they are not they won't be knowing the concept, and they can't reach that on
Yeah.
one day of time.
Yeah.
So that is what I
Yeah.
understand in terms of importance of certification actually.
Yes, Varaprasath. So, like, as you have like mentioned and everything, so after completing the certification and everything, that actually changed the way how actually you
Yes,
perceive the requirements of the application and development.
yes,
So, like, you have worked as a solo developer, and as we know that at the moment, like, you are a leading sort of like senior, test engineer
yes, yes.
at your current organization. So, what differences you have found, like, working in a single team or like working in a group?
Uh, Working in a single team doesn't. The only target is getting the output.
Okay.
That's it. So you got the
Yeah.
output, and the game is done actually. But
Yeah.
and then post the mirror technologies, I moved into a company, Captronics actually.
Uh-huh.
I was not able to stay much longer due to the personal location
Uh-huh.
issues. I went to Captronics. That is the first time I'm seeing lots of people who were just working on LabVIEW. And
Uh-huh.
then I moved into a HCL actually, HCL Chennai.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that is the place where it turned my way of thinking into a very vast way, where some 50 developers are involved in three different global locations
Wow.
actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Until then, I was a single developer. When I moved
Uh-huh.
to HCL, I saw 50 developers, and there the architects are from US and as well as from Chennai. So they're very
Mhm.
senior people actually, and it took me a year to understand why are they doing that. architecture. So
Yeah.
understanding an architecture is not a complex thing. Understanding a
Mhm.
code, understanding something like someone has developed a small configuration tool or something like that.
Uh,
That
uh,
doesn't take much time to understand their code, but why they have done it, something like
yeah,
that, we
the value, long term, like a vision and everything. Yeah.
yeah, why they have visioned something like that, and what kind of requirement, what kind of thought process why they made something like that is the
Uh,
question. Well, it was
uh-huh.
so much complex for me, like three global sites, and that much very big architecture actually for me
Uh-huh.
actually. It took me almost a year. I have to definitely say that
Uh-huh.
that even becoming a CLD actually, I'm a
Yeah.
CLD, and then I went there, and then trying to break through and understand why they have done something like
Uh-huh.
that took me a year, and then I started to involve on that architecture actually.
Uh-huh.
I got the opportunity to modify
Uh-huh.
small things on the architecture,
Uh-huh.
and creating new features on that architecture,
Wow. Wow. That's very
and
interesting.
getting into a part of that architecture, and
Uh-huh.
with the help of all the other
Yeah.
architects and developers over there, and what they need new, what is the improvement which needs to be brought up actually, because we cannot create something straight away. You cannot become an
Yeah.
architect
Correct. Yeah.
without someone is guiding you what is an
Yeah.
architecture in the first place.
Yeah.
So then I try to understand like architecture is nothing but, even if a fresh developer, where they
Mhm.
create a platform actually where you put a
Yeah.
groundwork, which
Yeah.
says everything, how a developer has to work, how someone gets
Mhm.
into, how someone gets out, how
Mhm.
how everything get managed and all those things.
Yeah.
Was able to learn everything over there. Then I
Uh-huh.
started to work on test stand actually.
Uh-huh.
HCL is the place where I started into test stand, and then I become a CLD over there.
Uh-huh.
And then after becoming a CLD, now I am a not a CLD and CTD actually, Certified
Uh-huh.
Test Stand Developer.
Uh-huh.
Then I become, once I understand the complete architecture and other things,
Uh-huh.
I started to learn for CLE actually.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So CLE, and CLA, I cleared up the CLA, and then I started to learn for
Mhm.
CTA over there in HCL
Yeah.
itself.
Interesting. Yeah. You have mastered like both LabVIEW and test and
LabVIEW
both
and
at the
test
same
stand
time.
over there in
Yeah.
HCL, because in test automation project or a framework
Mhm.
will get much easier when people use test stand actually.
Yeah.
So test stand is a major subject. When both LabVIEW and test stand
Uh-huh.
collide together, they would be able to achieve many things
Yeah.
in their project.
Yeah. That's
So
really awesome.
then I moved to Value,
Yeah.
where I
Uh-huh.
created my foundation
Yeah.
architecture
Yeah.
over there,
Yeah.
and trying to
Yeah,
move
yeah.
forward on.
So very interesting, like story, Varaprasath. You have been like a very active member of the Indian LabVIEW community as well. You presented in the first CLA summit. I met you there along
Yeah,
with the other folks
yes,
as well over there. And not only that, like you actually attended the European CLA summit in Madrid last year, I believe.
yes.
So
Last year,
how's your experience like presenting at the places like CLA Summit in India as well as attending the CLA Summit in Europe where you meet like hundreds of LabVIEW
yes,
architects over there. So what do you think
yeah.
like how's your experience and what is the value it provides to the LabVIEW community in your experience?
Okay, it was pretty good actually when you attend the CLE summit or CLD summit. So when I went to the Europe, and
Mm-hmm.
there it becomes like more and more of LabVIEW architects came over there actually.
Mm-hmm.
So comparatively, it will be like a little less strength in India and more there in Europe. So that I
Yeah,
have to definitely say. And
yeah.
lots of people try to share their knowledge, what they see as the best. So
Mm-hmm.
all the architects will be coming over there, and they will be sharing their complete knowledge of what and all, what are the kinds. They will say a problem statement, and they will give us a
Mm-hmm.
solution which we may not have thought of actually. Something like that is
Uh-huh.
there. So it becomes a very great learning actually when where we go and hit our head, and try to find a solution where
Uh-huh.
creates a community, where you will be able to see the peers. If you go and meet the Indian CLA summit or CLE summit, you'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to get in touch with all the people of different
Yeah.
organizations actually, like lots and lots of people will be coming. So it says like
Yeah.
which and all companies who were working using LabVIEW, where to meet,
Yeah.
come to CLD Summit or something like
Yeah.
that. or CLA summit, and you'd be able
Yeah.
to meet all the people over there and try to interact with them and try to communicate with them
Yeah.
and get in touch with them actually.
Yeah.
And that is how the community grows. And that is what I would say. If you want to meet all the people, get in all touch with the people, come to the
Yeah, networking,
yeah,
networking as well
networking.
as like accelerate your learning experience as well, which
Yeah,
could have taken you like a many years. Yeah,
yes,
you
yes,
can learn very quickly.
yes. It will take definitely many years to learn, and yeah, many people,
Yeah, that's interesting.
community people will get to know about
Mhm.
you, and you will be able to know about other people's actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, awesome. Yeah. So, Varaprasath, like apart from that, like you are now the LabVIEW champion, like in
Yes.
the India, like a
Yes.
fresh one and everything. So, what message you want to give to the the people who are aspiring to become like work in the LabVIEW domain, or they want to become CLD, CLA, or even like a LabVIEW champion? What message you want to give? Yeah.
So the first thing I would say to the people of the community is so the LabVIEW certification and the things is uh, it is not examination or something like that which is going to give you some kind of it is the path for your learning actually. So they have to
Mm-hmm.
learn, and it is not something to give you a job opportunity in the first place. People say, okay, if I become a LabVIEW certified LabVIEW architect or developer, will I get LabVIEW? Will I
Yeah.
get a job of these many lakhs or these many
Uh,
euros? That will come automatically. That will knock your door actually
yeah.
when you
Yeah.
become an appropriate qualified
Yeah.
person actually. They have to understand this is the route or methodology. Certification is the route or
Mm-hmm.
methodology of getting the appropriate knowledge, and they have
Mm-hmm.
to apply their knowledge into an appropriate project actually,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to make it very useful for some other end user actually. The end user has to get satisfied, and and their coding standards and everything, they have to learn to develop a code where it doesn't need when a new guy come into
Mm-hmm.
and see their code in a real project, he has to get started and try to easily adapt it, rather than okay, what is that code, delete all the code which is there and start a new
Yeah.
new coding. So that is
Mm-hmm.
something which they have to go through towards actually. And even for the community or the new people who are trying to become a certified LabVIEW developer or architect or certification, if you get failed or if you get down on your first attempt, you should
Mm-hmm.
not give up. They should not give up actually.
You actually
And
learn more.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That is the truth. If someone fails on a CLD first attempt, then that is fine. That that happens actually. There's most many people will drop that dream and they will run away. So that is something which they should not do. They should continue
Yeah.
in there, because when something fails and they learn again, and because in my case, Maze, I failed the CTD one time and I failed
Uh-huh.
CL CLAD one
Uh-huh.
time actually, but I try to not to, money will go, many things will happen.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So they should not lose their hope or their learning
Mm-hmm.
in becoming a certified LabVIEW developer and architect.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what
Yeah.
I would say to all the people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, Varaprasath. So
Thank
we know that like you have been using LabVIEW for a long time in different organizations and
you.
everything, and you also have worked with like many different versions of LabVIEW. I
Yes.
do not know like how much you have worked with the NXG so far, but can you tell us like what were the best features or the limitations you had in some of the LabVIEW you used? Did the LabVIEW have like taken care of these limitations? Or like you are looking for like some of the dream features, for example, like some of the people who are looking for the zoom function, because some people will write
That came on
like an
NXT.
entire thing in the same like
Yeah, yeah.
screen and everything. So what do you think, like what are the features you are still missing, or do you think NI R&D is doing a great job?
Yeah, right. NI R&D is supporting a lot of things actually.
Hmm.
NXG has came,
Yeah.
and we are still doing some kind of study in bringing the NXG into the real project actually, because
Hmm.
it's all live running project,
Yeah.
and we are in because all the law existing codes of several years are in LabVIEW actually, and NXG will take some more time actually for us to go.
Hmm.
So that is a very big move for NI to bring the next generation into the
Hmm.
picture of it actually.
Hmm.
And in terms of improvements or something like that, which I would ask is like 32-bit and 64-bit is creating lots of problems. The existing projects are all in 32-bit, and yeah, when we just try to move to 64 bits, it's not LabVIEW's fault, but all the low-level drivers and other things are will get some kind of hits actually, and if that would be able to like a DLL actually, you call a Windows DLL will not support actually if your Windows DLL is on 32-bit, then you need a 32-bit LabVIEW. If Windows DLL is on 64-bit, you need 64-bit LabVIEW. So that kind of problems, if and I can address or something like that, it would be
Yeah,
like
I believe like some of the people from like might be watching this video, so they can take this feedback.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So because that DLL is coming from kind of a third party or something like that, manufacturer of some kind of device actually. So they are not giving 64-bit, when they only give 32-bit, then all the codes and we are trying to bring up
Yeah.
that it gets a hit actually. Trying to
Yeah.
manage it some way. There are other second level options are there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
NIC is pretty good actually. If we start with a new project, we can straight away go with NIC and move on. But an existing project, we may a little bit uh, slowly put our step into a
Yeah, I think like
newer technology.
it will yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it will reach there, I believe. Yeah.
yeah, definitely it is. It's a lot easy because lots of people, 50 to 70 or 100 people, have to adapt to the to the newer thing actually. So
Yeah.
that is what. But slowly we would move one guy to the another. One project will start with the NXG, and then we'll try to move on. So that is there. It is pretty good. And new people, when they're trying to learn, I guess they have to learn both LabVIEW and NXG.
Yeah. Yeah. So Varaprasath, like we're slowly coming towards the end of the interview. Like,
Yes.
do you have like any very high point while using the LabVIEW? Like for example, like apart from your like certifications as well as the LabVIEW Champion, I know LabVIEW Champion is like one of the prestigious and the freshest one for you. But
Yes.
anything like you cannot actually like forget that has been like a defining moment for you. Anything?
Okay. Technically, in LabVIEW, if you
Maybe it can be like a meeting someone or like it happened during the event, like maybe presenting for the first time. What kind of experiences you had?
yeah, first time when I presented on a topic of interfacing LabVIEW and test and actually. The best thing is people from NI, the father of LabVIEW, who
Yeah,
came
Jeff was
actually,
there.
and yeah, he came actually when we both are there. So
Yeah.
that would be a fantastic opportunity actually to meet to meet at that time
Yeah.
years back.
Yeah.
So that is a very good
Yeah.
opportunity. And there are lots of in-depth concepts and other things are there to precisely take some um, so people should not use lots of your VI size actually LabVIEW VI size when they go to a larger project they cannot the LabVIEW size should be minimal as possible and when multiple people are involved like 20 people or 30 people are involved on the same project they have to
Yeah.
split up their code accordingly
Yeah. Correct.
uh, in such a way such a way they have to split up one guy doesn't go and touch the other guy's code so so
Yeah.
or else what happens is like file clash will happen they will commit then it create branch and then they have to merge and that gets more complicated actually
Yeah.
so they have to use lots of features which is there in LabVIEW to run the VA at the runtime and
Yeah.
things like that where they have to put the top level framework which
Yeah.
runs all the low level modules where whichever module is required it has to pull up and
Yeah.
put it on the top and
And should not forget about the source code control as well.
yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
They should maintain their codes well, source code it, tag it actually,
Yeah.
whichever source code they are using, SVN
Yeah.
or Git or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
stuff they are
So Varaprasad, like before we wrap up, we know that like Bangalore has always been like termed as the Silicon Valley of India, and then like we have got lots of companies here. But
Yes,
as we know that like Chennai is also like second behind like
yes,
Bangalore in India.
Yes.
and you are the only LabVIEW champion in that region at the moment.
Okay.
So what do you want to tell the all the people from like a Chennai region or like all over like
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu, like how what do you think like how you can improve like locally as well, because addressing everyone can be a little bit of challenge. So what do you think like
Yes.
what can be done for that?
Yeah, I would say like the intellect group which we have created, and
Yeah.
it is a it's a very good thing, the Indian lab community actually. So which has been started by you. I would say like that has to get
Okay, I think it was like a team effort, like you and
yeah,
like
but you
everybody involved and everything. So
but you started
yeah,
it actually.
not
That is
only
what I have to say.
me.
So that would be the best thing, and lots of people have to get involved into it
Uh,
and try to present, and they have to come by
uh,
themselves and try to
uh,
the slot. Getting a slot in that has to become a bigger competition and a challenge actually. And
uh,
every developer, LabVIEW architects and other people who are there
uh,
in different organizations, they have to ask or assign someone who in their team to
uh,
go and present
mhm.
into
Oh yeah, that would be really
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
representing the organization actually, and it might be a certified guy or non-certified guy, but
Mhm.
they can ask not to present themselves, but they can ask some other guys in their team to come and go and present representing us actually, so that new people or fresh people would get encouraged, and the community will grow to a very large extent actually. So
Yeah, maybe like we're already experienced, but like
yes,
we may not have experienced that kind of challenges what they have faced. It
yes,
can be a unique challenge, and it can actually help us to understand the scenarios and then learn
yes,
from that one.
yes. So that is what I would say. The new people, new guys who are coming out of college or something like that, or getting into the organization, they have to start presenting actually, and small things which they know actually. So that is
Mm.
why that will improve the community and improve the interest of lots of people to come and present. So that will be the best thing to for you, Chennai, and to the guys in India.
Yeah. So like, do you have like any short tips for like any people who want to become like a LabVIEW architect or getting into more serious kind of application development?
Yeah,
Any tips you have learned? Final tip.
yeah, I would say like yeah, you are progressing very good, Ram. Actually, someone someone if they want to become a LabVIEW developer or architect
Okay.
actually, and they have to undergo your training is what even lots of people over here
Okay.
in our organization. I would go and ask how
Uh-huh.
was your training. They would say it was great actually. So people are
Okay.
very much. Happy on your training and moving forward. And so someone says, "Come
Oh,
on."
thank you. Thank you.
I become a CLD, and I ask how you become a CLD. Then the next answer is giving. I went to Ram's training.
Okay, that's very generous of them. Yeah,
Yeah, that
but like I wanted to like find a tip from your side, like becoming better LabVIEW programmer. Because what I'm trying to do is like just implementing the NI recommended guidelines. But
okay.
from your experience, like entire experience, like what is the one of the key skill that any general engineer or the LabVIEW developer should have? Like, yeah.
In general, any LabVIEW developer should. Okay, this is something which I was astonished on. A CLD question paper design is the art, is what I have to say.
Okay. Wow.
So
That's really.
that is the way they have to write a requirement
Uh-huh.
in a larger project, rather than just trying to create a solution for the given CLD question paper.
Uh-huh.
How the CLD question paper is formulated, how the text are framed, how that
Uh-huh.
is the way of creating a requirement.
Wow. Okay.
So when anyone go any project or any client side, they will say this, that, and this. But we have to create a requirement document in the first place. That is
Uh-huh.
the foundation actually. Their
Uh-huh.
code came to that level. Even ATM or any kind of solution
Uh-huh.
came to that level of code
Uh-huh.
because of the given CLD question paper as a requirement.
Wow. Uh-huh.
So if their requirement is going to get hit in some way, their output is going to get
Yeah.
get the replication actually.
Yeah.
So the requirement document is creating a requirement. How to create a
Uh-huh.
requirement document? If you ask me, refer the CLD question paper. That is the way a requirement has to be framed.
Wow, that's actually like a very awesome like tip
Yeah.
and everything, because like many people they only refer like let's say I'm a LabVIEW programmer, I only
Yeah.
think about like a coding.
Yeah. So if they are able to learn the structure, the top to bottom of the question paper is an arc.
Uh,
So if you go to the CLA, then the
uh,
same question paper has been given
uh,
as a different like a doors
uh,
requirements and a requirement IDs actually.
uh-huh.
So that structure and formulation, people can concentrate and try to catch it up. That
Yeah,
is a very good thing which
yeah,
I thought in
yeah.
terms of
Yeah, that's really awesome. Like a tip from like a Varaprasath, like the freshest LabVIEW champion of India.
thanks.
Thank you very much, Varaprasath, for like giving your important time for the interview. I think like my audience as well as all the LabVIEW users as well as the audience, they will be benefited from your tip, and then the journey you had went from like writing some like a scribbling spaghetti code or the khichdi code, what we call in India,
Yeah.
to like becoming a CLD, CLA, and LabVIEW champion now.
Yes.
So indeed, like it has been like a pleasure speaking with you and then learning all these kind of things. Thank you very much, everyone watching as well. We'll be signing off now.
Yes,
Signing out now.
thanks, Ram.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot for the opportunity which you have provided and what you're doing for the community of India and throughout the LabVIEW community of the world. So I
yeah,
would definitely have to thank for that actually. Lots of people are getting into this technology because of you.
yeah.
So that is what, and thanks a lot for your time for spending with me for this session actually.
The pleasure is all mine.
Yeah,
Varaprasad, thank you very much for your time as well. So next time, like we'll be speaking with like another LabVIEW personality or the LabVIEW champion. Thank you very much.